Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Happy Easter week for those of you who celebrate Easter. Welcome, welcome. Wednesday is our big day, the big day for us to get to pour into you in person, which we do all week. And those of you online on Zoom, hello, welcome. Hope you're doing awesome out there in the inner spheres and stuff like that. And those of you watching on YouTube later, welcome. I'm Jamie. I'm the CEO. I'm here to represent our leadership. And let's get started. What can you expect from today? We are going to hear from our fearless leader about a new fearless leader. We are going to hear great numbers about our market center. We're going to hear about current and new vendors. And we're going to hear from the Raw Report himself. Steve.
Yeah, bye.
Do you have, can you predict? That's one of my favorite things. He tells me not to keep playing that video, and then he says it all the time. I'm like, come on, dude. So real quick, so what, you're gonna share numbers, and the numbers show trends about the future, but you can predict the future, right?
You go by reply on that.
No, what is that?
My crystal ball is kind of foggy.
This crystal ball is foggy. So what we did was we have a crystal ball. So anytime you need to know the future, come to my office. We have a crystal ball.
Like a magic 8 ball?
Okay, I gotta do this, otherwise it loses its magic. All right, let's get on a roll. Thank you, Steve. What is our purpose here specifically at this market center based on who we want to be and who we are at Serve Agents, Impact Lives? How can I impact more lives in this world? I can impact lives by helping people who impact lives. So keep impacting lives. I'm excited that we keep getting to impact you doing so. Our goal is to return $1 million in profit share in 2030. We are on our way. We were 32nd in the region last month. So we're climbing up there. Got a long ways to go, and I think some of the announcements today is going to help us get there. And let's give a round of applause to Sarah. For those of you who are new, we have a play of the week. And what we do that for is we have amazing people in here. We need to know the quality of the people who are on your team. And also, we like to let your sphere know great things about you when those things happen to promote. Last week, we had Anna, who was serving her client while birthing. This week, Sarah was servicing many clients while birthing. Gallbladder. She has a picture of it. We were thinking of posting it. So that you can see that Sarah's beautiful inside and out. But we didn't have the guts to do it. So seriously.
I think that would alter perspective.
We're going to introduce someone today, and Sarah's a member of the ALC. And thank you to the ALC for spending so much time in helping us get who we believe is the right person. Okay? So, speaking of the right person, let's bring up Olivia.
I just can't do your jokes anymore.
Show her French talk, isn't that cute?
He likes to make fun of my French talk, but that's what all the kids do, so that's what I try to do as well. So, okay, so it has been a long 10 months, has it not? It has been a long 10 months, and it's been quite the journey. Your ALC, your fellow leaders of the Market Center have helped, and when I went back and I looked at my calendar, I think I took 8, if not 9 people through almost the entire career visioning process. And if you all know how long that takes, this gal is worth the wait. It's about 10 to 12 hours per person. The countless, resumes to look through, the videos to watch from the consulting company. And Cicely, why don't you come on up? Give her a hand. She lights up a room. And the final two candidates, I didn't think I told you this, maybe I did. The final two candidates, one was a young gentleman and the other one was Cicely. And back to back, while I was on vacation in the middle of March, I put the ALC and the leadership in charge of grilling both of them, obviously separately, right? And I came back and did the download with each group separately, and it was like 99.999%, like, you have to hire her. Like, you have to hire her. It was like a resounding, you have to hire her. And she doesn't even really know much like you about the company, and she is like on fire for Keller Williams Preferred Realty. So I thought I would just introduce you briefly and you could share a few things. Her and I are jumping on a plane on Easter Sunday, so that's fun. Headed down to FSO and Market Center Skills Camp. So Sunday through Thursday we'll be at Keller Williams Realty International. So she can dive in, baptized by fire, to learn a little bit more about Keller Williams. And then we'll be back and ready to go the following week. So you want to just share a few things?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for that introduction. Your money's in your desk.
Yeah, there you go. She's learning quickly. Yeah, there you go.
Thank you. Yes, you absolutely grilled me. I've never been through that kind of an interview process. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it. You did not tell me about that. I knew you were interviewing others, but I did not know that, so it's great to know. I am absolutely on fire for Keller Williams, and I'm ecstatic to absolutely be here. I just wonder if you're ready. Okay.
We're ready.
We're ready. Yes. And I knew that you were, but this is just an opportunity. I am looking at this role as brand new, as the very first person who's ever embodied it, because you changed it. So I just think of myself as the very first person in this role. Yeah. You are exceptional. I run a podcast that talks about the exceptionalism of America, a country that is exceptional because it has only had one ruling document out of the 195 who have not. A country that is only under 250 years old, and yet 4% of the globe's population, and yet it is the most leading in innovation, and it's the leader in art, right? And it is a leader in other leaders. We are the exception. We set the rules, and that's what Keller Williams represents to me. I am absolutely ecstatic. So I'm going to get the chance to meet you all. I'm going to ask you a question at top of mind for me, and it's always this: who do you know that I should? And so I'm always working. I'm going to ask the mailman that question. I'm going to ask the person that's checking me out at the grocery store. I'm going to ask my neighbors. I'm going to ask the dogs to rat on their owners to tell me, because I want to know. But truly, I feel that you are exceptional, and together we make this exceptional team. I only want to work with the best. I'm sure that's your standard as well when we've interviewed. And so let's just make sure that we're out there and we're dominating, and that we are who everyone is talking about, and they are absolutely begging and breaking down that door to get to Keller Williams and represent that red.
Sit down. You're gonna scare her away. I mean, holy buckets. And what she's referencing, for those of you outside of the ALC, when Jamie and I transitioned him into the Chief Value Officer role last year, I said, you keep leading the ALC, you keep helping with retention, so that when we bring on the right team leader who will be here to grow this company, that's 90% of what Cicely will be doing, is growing the company. So she won't be leading the ALC. More than likely, she won't be leading the sales meetings. Maybe not until they're under, 6 months under her belt. Occasionally, she'll make an appearance and lead the meetings, and yet her job is to grow this company, right? So she'll be reaching out. She's been studying the roster for the last 3-4 weeks with your faces on it, so she can get to know you all. But definitely just spend some time after the meeting getting to know her, and in the weeks to come, just not next week or on Easter Sunday when we're on an airplane together, okay? Okay, so next thing, you've probably seen our posts, our emails, our text messages. It's in the Friday email. Phil Jones is a national speaker and author, and the North Central region is bringing him in. I'm gonna be transparent that we took a huge risk in bringing him in. We're behind on ticket sales. We're sitting at about 215. There's an option for a general seat of $199, or there's an option for a VIP. The VIP, right now, we have 24 people attending the VIP section. What you get for the VIP is a private coffee with him from 7 to 8. You get the general session from 8:30 to 12:30. Then everybody in the general session goes home. The afternoon, you get lunch, you get a signed autographed book from him, you get a picture opportunity with him, and about a 3-hour interactive workshop with him. Now, for those of you that follow Phil Jones, he's spoken at Family Reunion, he's spoken at Mega Camp. He has a 2-day course in New York that you can go to with a group of 40 to 50 people that you invest $5,000 to attend a 2-day course with them. So the $500 investment for the VIP is where it's at. If you've already purchased your ticket of the $199, when you go to the website, click into the promo code, the word upgrade, and it'll bring up the opportunity for you to upgrade your ticket from $199 to $499 for the VIP. We can get a discount if we purchase an additional 10 tickets together. I know Maria and Megan commented on my Facebook group, so if there's anyone else, maybe if you can take some notes real quick, if there's anyone else that knows they want to attend the general session that haven't signed up, that you want it to make, we'll just charge you back on your next month's invoice, would you just raise your hand and we'll add you to that pack? Anybody considering it that just hasn't? Lisa, Tasha, May 1st, Thursday, yeah. Okay, so we'll go from there, okay? Here's a quick video that we're gonna play that he sent us, just so you can learn a little bit more about Phil.
Hello. Phil Jones here. I couldn't be more excited to be with the North Central region in the Twin Cities for the first time ever for an exclusive group of people helping you know exactly what to say in the moments that matter. You know as well as I do, in the world of real estate right now, it isn't just effort, hard work, product knowledge that's going to help you stand out. It's having the right words at the right time. It's knowing how to step into every one of those interactions with past clients, with prospects, with family, friends, and your spirit at large. And knowing what to say, when to say, and how to make it count is the differentiator between a good year and a great year. So the chance for us to be able to roll our sleeves up together, go to work, empower you with the skills, the tools, the frameworks to make more of those moments matter in your world is something I cannot wait to get started. It's going to be an impactful group of people, professional agents that care about what winning looks like in 2025. And I know the market's challenging, which means that I want you to win more than your fair share. If you're keen to understand exactly how to do that, join us for the general session. Want to take it one stage further and get immersive and build a practical action plan, learn tools to elevate your conversational practice, maybe grab a high five, an autograph, a book or two, then join us in the VIP session too. I cannot wait to be able to meet you in person. I'm excited to be able to go to work in a part of the country that I love and adore, and I cannot wait for us to make magic together. See you guys soon.
So that's a little bit more on Phil. So if you want to take part of the 10-pack, just let Jamie or Jason know. We'll get that added to the list. We'll get the ticket purchased. It's right at JW Marriott at the Mall of America. We're expecting it to jump hopefully above 300 ticket sales, maybe 350. Yes, Ryan?
So if we already bought a ticket, is there any way that we can get that credit towards the group?
No. No, but you can enter the upgrade word in. See what I did there? That's exactly what to say in the moment. Oh, look who's so funny now, Jason. That wasn't really funny.
So maybe this isn't for you.
Yeah, that's right.
Nice.
This isn't for me.
Well, just for a taste real quick, what we're gonna do at 2:30 or 10:30 or 12:30 is right there, it says never have to talk about a price reduction again.
That's right, I kind of forgot to, so
That's
12:30 today is the exactly what to say workshop that Jamie and Jason
So
are
if you're
putting on.
curious on how to be able to do your business that way, come at 12:30 or see me if you can't make it, or better yet, grab a VIP, I'll be there for that.
There you go. Yeah, I think of the 25 or so seats that we have sold, I think there's 10 or 11 VIPs from this office. So it'll just be like a domino, a domination takeover VIP from KDPR, right? Okay, so Karina has some forms here, and I just want to thank you all that give on your commission checks to KDB Cares and to the AHA Fund. Some of you probably don't know what the AHA Fund is. It stands for Agents Helping Agents. And it is a foundation that we put into place here years ago, probably 2014 or 2015. And we keep $6,000 to $7,000 or so in that account for when someone in our family needs it. And last week, we were able to cut a check to Caitlin Ball, who's been a team member of ours here in the office for the last 4.5 years. If you haven't heard, she had a house fire, and lost everything. She was standing out in the middle of the street in her bare feet, and her neighbors came out with socks and shoes and a sweatshirt, and she's currently living in her friend's basement. And so I'm just here to ask that if you currently are not giving to the AHA Fund or to KDB Cares, would you consider filling out that form today so that when tragedies like this strike, we can continue to just write checks to those people, right? We had somebody 3 months ago, her purse was stolen, we wrote a $500 check. That's what this is there for, in order to, I can't even look at you, Nikki, back there, stop it. So if you haven't filled this out and you're not currently giving on your commission checks to the AHA Fund or KDB Cares, would you please consider doing so? And also, we haven't nailed down a date yet, but we're gonna do something fun in-house, whether that be a happy hour or a espresso martini party. We were talking with, where's Stacy? Are you in here, Stacy? No, Stacy and Sarah, their new team member, Dawn. Are you in here? There you are. Hi, Dawn. Hi. We were talking, maybe they haven't told you yet, but we were thinking maybe your jewelry line, we would have a party and give some of the proceeds back to Caitlin as well to be able to help as well. So I appreciate you all and for the donations that you have given and the donations that you will continue to give. There you go.
Wow, huh? No question why we are who we are. Thank you, Olivia. And thank you for the time and emotion put into coming up with the right person, not just for her business, but for us, you. It's pretty amazing stuff to watch behind the scenes. So very blessed. Thank you. Speaking of blessed, come on up, Mel.
All right. Hello, hello. My all-time favorite motivational speaker was always Tony Robbins, and so many of us have heard him, and he is awesome. But my current all-time favorite motivational speaker is John Gordon, and he talks about the heart of everything is love. You have to love your people, you have to love your job. And Olivia just shared with all of us why our market center ticks, and it's because of that, so thank you. Have I told you lately how much I love you? You guys know that, right? You definitely know that. So this is why I'm reminding you very, very quickly of a couple things. They actually were brought to my attention by other people who touch your files, so love them, please. And even though you're working really quickly in this very, very busy spring market, please remember to cross your T's and dot your I's. So I would encourage you, even those of you who might be using services to draft some of your contracts, make sure that none of the lines on a contract are left blank. We want a dash through, we want a non-applicable. You just never know who might change that after the fact. So be thorough, be professional, no blanks, please. Also, many of you are locking up those listing contracts right now, and that's incredible. But just remember, you don't actually have a listing contract until it's been signed by all parties, making that the date of final execution. So it's important to remember, even if you want, the listing to start on a certain date, the circles that I have right here are all technically supposed to be the same date. If your client is not ready to list it, but they will be in 2 days, go ahead and fill out a withheld form just for those 2 days. But don't fill out your listing contract, say, starting May 1st, and have these dates all be a little mismatched. But you send it for electronic signing, and it's signed on April 16th, for example. So just clean up your listing contracts, clean up your forms, make sure those dates match before you submit any listing contract to the front desk, and then also no blanks, please. Any questions? Yeah?
To clarify, if you meet with a couple who's no longer together, and you get the signatures from one party on the day that the contract starts.
Yeah.
And you send it to the other party, if they choose to drag their feet on signing, what do we do there?
Well, you don't have a final executed listing agreement until the date that the second party signs it.
But do I have to
unfortunately.
change any of the other dates?
No.
Okay.
But it's when it's happening when it happens in reverse. So you're sending, you're at their house or you're sending it out for signing and they're signing it today, but all the rest of these dates are dated, something else. We really want them to be, May 1st, for example, we really want them to all be the same date. We can talk later. Yep. It matters. The order of the dates matters.
Thank you.
Yes.
Dates and matching, it's like Tinder.
It is like Tinder, your deal goes up in flames if you don't get it right.
Thank you. That was lit. Speaking of lit, let's welcome up Karina.
Hi, everybody. I'm gonna go quick because I know we've got a lot going on today, so I won't bore you with so much of my numbers. I'll get you to the Steve so you can get the interesting numbers. So for the month of March, the market did catch up to what we were doing, but we're still, so last month, if you don't remember, we were having like a bang out month. We're having another great month. The market has caught up to us, so there wasn't as many numbers that I could choose from, but we still have 131 closed units that we did in March, 81 listings taken, 56 listings sold, and that's how much we did in volume for each of those. And just wanting to share, I was looking through our multi-year trends, and for the month of March, since the beginning of JWPR time, we've had the highest closed volume, the highest listing taken volume, the highest listing sold volume, and the highest amount of profit share this past month. So that's a pretty bang up month in my opinion.
Way across the first quarter.
Yeah. So there's the year-to-date where we're at with closed units, listings taken, listings sold, and the corresponding volume. And then for March, amount of profit share was $28,741 that we're giving back to our agents, and this is the second highest amount for March. 2021 was $33,601, so that's kind of an off year because of COVID thing. But it was more than double than what we did last year for March. So I mean, that's fantastic. Give your guys a round of applause. And year to date, we've given back just over 62,000. And these are some shareables. We'll put these up in the Facebook so you can grab these and bring it out to your sphere. And if you have any questions, let me know.
Thank you. And speaking of someone else's lit, come on up. The mom of someone we're about to see.
Okay. He's not here. Okay, hello everybody. So on Friday is Good Friday, so the office will be closed. We hope that you all have a wonderful, beautiful Easter. So happy Easter. We have Jason's Tech Savvy class coming up on Thursday, tomorrow, at 10 a.m. And this is the Zoom one. So this is where Jason is talking about the Instagram Influence Edition. So it's going to be great, and you should go. Supper Club is on also this Thursday at 6 p.m. It's at Fong's, which I believe is in Prior Lake, right? Yeah. So if you want to go to that, reach out to Misha. We'll make sure that we have enough reservation slots for all of you. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to this one.
Really?
Yeah.
She said that every month.
I know. Yeah, but I'm going. I'm a little bit scared because I don't know if Okay. Admin Appreciation Day is on April 23rd, and we know how much admin do. So, Rainmakers, this is your reminder that it's Admin Appreciation Day on April 23rd.
Love
Okay?
your admins.
Yes, love on your admins. We know that they, keep you afloat. Admins, you did get an email, that went out, I believe, yesterday, and it's an invite to a little celebratory donut festivity on that day, so let us know if you can make it. And then lastly, for today, Red Day is coming up on May 8th, and for those of you that don't know what Red Day is, it's a day where Keller Williams goes out and they renew, energize, and donate. Basically, you give where you live. There's a video that goes a little bit more in depth on Facebook about what it is. And we have some great leads thanks to Kelly at the front desk, has a great connection with the Rotary. And so we have been put in contact with a few things. As of right now, it's looking like we're gonna be doing some yard work. And there's gonna be a sign up that goes out soon. They're supposed to call me back tomorrow, so I will probably send an email with a sign up and all the details on that as soon as I have it. So mark your calendars, and find your Red Day shirts and be ready for May. That's all.
Thanks. Let's hear from Big Bry, New American Funding, come on up.
Hold on, get to that mic.
You'll be fine.
I need to move the raw ball. It's like Lord of the Rings. It's on to the future, it looks good.
You didn't move it very far.
Too powerful.
Okay, I realize this is a little too small and confusing, but I wanted to talk about Minnesota housing. At the last team meeting, I talked about kind of the tightening of some higher risk programs and down payment assistance programs. Well, Minnesota Housing has also had a few changes going on in 2025. Oh, okay. How can I scroll?
You can't. This is the same that Dave, Tom Dave,
All right, no problem. So, what they've done, they're basically saying, well, our mission, we want to really focus on our target market. And so they're lowering the amount of down payment assistance from 16.5 down to 14. I think they're starting to run out of funds, and the funding is a little tenuous now, so they're going to tighten that up. They're also lowering the income qualifiers for the down payment assistance, whether you qualify for it or not. A 1 to 2 person household is basically dropped by 10 grand per category. 1 to 2, and it basically goes, oh, there we go.
Can they make?
Scroll that, that's fine. So really, all they're doing is tightening things up, because I think they're running out of money. And so they're saying, okay, we're gonna focus. It's always been a low to moderate income program. And so, basically they're gonna lower the low to moderate income levels as far as qualifying is concerned.
And where are they gonna find those houses?
Right, well, and along those lines, you have to have a 28% housing ratio, meaning your income, the house, just the house payment has to be at least 28%. So if somebody's got no debts, and, find a 100 grand house, I don't know if this is ever gonna come into play, find a 100 grand house, your payment's gonna be very small. They don't wanna help that person, all right? Your debt ratio has to be at least 28% on just the house. And we also have total debt ratio with their other debts, and there's maximums there, but it's kind of that, I'm always trying to lower the debt ratio. Well, here, you have to have at least 28% housing ratio, okay? And also, after you close, you can have a max of $13,000 in your bank account. meaning we don't wanna help you if you've got all this money, do it on your own. We're not gonna give you down payment assistance. You close this loan and you still have 13 grand laying around. Not interested in that. Now there's ways to move that money. It doesn't count 401k and there's some things that don't count, but
It'll take them 3 months to find anything or more anyway,
Right,
so
well,
they'll
so
get
we'll-
rid of it.
You're right, we'll find a way to get that done, but, just some changes that are going on with Minnesota housing. Can't read that, thank you.
Thank you,
If we go to
Brian.
that website and look around, will we understand it better?
Yes, you can go to the website. There's a lender section where there's a password, but most of that's
It's okay.
Yes, thank you, and again, Brian's a special vendor for us. If you know other vendors that you think would be great for the market center, please let Karina know. We'd love to add people. And we want to give a warm welcome to our newest. I want you to remember that the last newest was Olivia and her dog training. Remember, it went from dog whisperer, and business is really picking up right now. So, despite that, she started a whole new one.
Barf Vader.
So it's Barf Vader,
That is.
best
I've
backed
never
up,
seen him make that face in my life.
best backed up baby specialist in the galaxy. So if you have a kid who's backed up, she will use the force to help empty the dark side at the speed of light. Funniest part about this day was, they were standing in the back room, she was crying as loud as hell. They just kept escalating on her.
I blame it on Jason Herkamp. That was the last person that baby Gus looked at, so that's
All right, well, may the force be with you. And speaking of great leaders like Darth Vader, but on the good side, Steve Rawl, ladies and gentlemen.
And thank you, Steve, for coming running with a napkin for them to clean themselves up. That was. Oh.
Libby didn't ask me to do this. Please sign up for this. Back when I had prostate cancer, this fund made a rent payment for me. I was renting a house, I had surgery, and they stepped in and wrote a check for me to pay my rent. I think I paid it back pretty well. That's why I don't speak a whole lot. I get too emotional.
That's okay.
Okay. Raw report. Why is there a raw report? Go back in history a little bit. Back when I started this office in 2002 and started going to family reunion every year, within a couple of years, Gary Keller started saying, you better get ready because the market's gonna shift. And I come back home and we were somewhat profitable, still sell a lot of real estate, and I said, what's Gary talking about? And then the shift and a little bit of other stuff happened. About 2007, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever. And so I don't know exactly when I started the raw report, but here's one from 2009. Looks a little bit like today. And here's another one from 2020. I'll pass it around if anybody wants to look at it. But anyway, I thought, once I got caught by the market, I decided that I was never gonna get caught again. And so I started analyzing the market because I love numbers. And so I I wanna try and touch on things that, you know, the crystal ball was pretty cloudy. Cause I don't like to predict the market, but I can tell you what's going on. I drill down pretty good every day. And if I miss a day, I go back and estimate. Oops, that's the wrong one. So this is my spreadsheet.
Yeah, baby.
Tom, translate.
I don't know if you can, it's probably pretty hard to back the room, but.
I'm in the front row today.
But I have a tab for every year. Here's 15, 14, 13, all the way back to 2004. So I can tell you roughly how many houses were for sale in the 7-county metro every day going back to 2004. Now, today I gather a whole lot of other stuff. And I'll just kind of go across the top here. So I have the days of the week abbreviated. I have Friday highlighted by green. Wednesdays is a day that I gather numbers that I use in the raw report. But I have the time of day that I collected how many active inventory. This has changed from the previous day. And you probably heard me say in the raw report before that the biggest listing days of the week, you see, okay, are Thursdays and Fridays. And here's proof. Here's Friday, and this is the change from the inventory the day before. Well, here, on this Thursday, there were 5,753, and the next day there was 6,000. So the inventory went up by 293. Last Friday, it went up by 323.
Steve, is that going active or is that listed?
Because
we have a change now.
I log in and I check active listings.
Okay, so not coming soon?
Not what?
Not coming soon?
No. Coming soon is way over here.
Okay.
But because I talk about coming soon. And last week, and Wednesday is generally speaking the largest number of coming soon. So I picked Wednesday because the market doesn't change dramatically on Friday or on Wednesdays, but it does on Fridays because the inventory jumps way up. And then you can see here on Sunday it went down to 185, went down to 65 the next day, 33 the next day, and that's today. And this will keep going down as we go through the day because I keep checking it. But, so I just want you to be able to, especially the newer ages, I know some of this is boring for you guys if you've been around a while, but understand the market you're in and understand what's going on so you can speak intelligently about it if you're talking to a seller or a buyer, right?
So Steve, for a clarification standpoint, if I'm a newer agent, I would probably want to have my house, if I'm gonna have it coming soon, I would probably want to have that come on a Wednesday, because that's what the market does for the most part, and then go active on a Friday.
Why don't I tell you what I do? I put a coming soon on Sunday. Because I know within probably 30 minutes, if you're not aware, the photos that you use are on every major real estate website in the world in about 30 minutes. Realtor.com, Zillow.com, Remax.com, KellerWilliams.com, EdinaRealty.com, all of them. Because we have signed an agreement that when we list a property, we're gonna share it with everybody else, right? Well, just a sidebar, Zillow is trying to mess with that. Because Zillow just came out with a new policy, says if you market your property for one day without putting it in the MLS, your listing is not gonna show up on Zillow anymore. That is a bold move, and I think it's a badass move, but anyway. All right, so this is the change from the previous day. So, and this has changed since September 21st of 24. That's when we hit the high for inventory last year. This is the number of pendings, and then this is the number of percentage pendings of the actings. So tomorrow, in my raw, or tonight in my raw report when I ship it, last week it was 71%. Today it's probably gonna be 72. I think that's a real positive for our market. And here's a prediction, our market is outperforming most of the rest of the country, and I'll get to that in a second. And then, several years ago, the MLS changed the way numbers are calculated or reported or whatever. So this number is the number of new listings in the last 7 days. Now, if I go back,
Keep talking.
okay. If I go back and, thank you. And if I go back and check the numbers for this day, it'll jump to about probably 1,300. So this isn't, and the reason is, I can list a house, I can go through all the paperwork today and list a house and say it started 4 days ago. Right? So if I collected data 4 days ago, that house won't show up 4 days ago, but if I check it again today, it'll show up. So I'll show you in my chart why I don't report this number. I won't report this number today, but when I recalculate this, and maybe I'll do that if I have time, that'll be a lot bigger. And then I try to call attention to myself and maybe talk about it on Wednesdays. This is the number of price reductions done in the last 7 days. So you see, I have the ones over 600. And we haven't had very many for a while. But now you're starting to see them again. So it kind of comes and goes. But then, and this is the 7-day rolling average. So if I take these 7 numbers and divide them, or these numbers and divide them by 7, so there's a rolling average of over 600, and that is over 10% of the actives. We had 59 actives when I checked this morning at 10 o'clock. And so every once in a while I talk about the number of properties doing price reductions. And when it gets above 10%, I think that's significant. This is
60. When you say that's significant, why is it significant? Why does that matter?
Well, in my opinion, it means that sellers are realizing, some of them, that they're not gonna be successful, and in order to get their house sold, they need to do a price reduction.
So if 10% of people are doing that, that means that.
Yeah, and I can see I'm running long. So I'm gonna skip this. This is pendings in the last 7 days, and I have these dates, numbers highlighted because it's over 1,000. And typically, you know, everybody's out selling over the weekend. They come in and they report what's going on. And usually Mondays is the biggest day of the week for new pendings in the last 7 days. So we're running over 1,000. That's good, in my opinion, that the market is getting hot. I also record the average list price and the days on market. And here's the rest of the spreadsheet. Like I said, I can tell you how many houses were for sale in 2007 was the highest number that I found recorded. And if I put my mouse over this, it'll say there were 29,390 houses for sale on July 28th of 2007. We talk about buyer's market, seller's market. What do you think that was back then?
Crazy.
Buyer's market? And how do we,
I was just gonna ask a question if I can.
yeah,
Because I know there's a lot of people in the room that use your raw report that you send out on email on Wednesdays.
yes,
And I'm wondering if it would make sense if we still have a few minutes to pull that up.
Yep.
And specifically highlight maybe the top 5 things that you feel like they should be ready for the questions from their clients so that they do sound like, because they are, we all are, the local economists of choice, so that they're not caught off guard, right? Practice on each other, master these numbers so that when you do sit down with the seller and they're like, well, I mean, they ask you a question and you're like, you know, you have no idea what to say.
yeah,
This is what it,
great idea.
yeah. So
Thank you for that.
can we make it bigger for those of us in the back who can't see?
I'll work on bigger.
You tell your story.
It says
All right.
60%, they can go bigger.
So anyway, my goal here is to show you several different things. Active listings, what are numbers today compared to going back to 2019. Pendings, there it is. What it looks like today and going back in time compared to all the way back to 2019. And at the very bottom, new listings and new sold. So that's okay, they're all stacked up here. This is April 2nd, can we go back up to April 9th? Keep going up. Okay, so the way I would suggest you use this with buyers and sellers is this is how much inventory we have currently, and that is 8.2% more than we had in the 15th week of last year. Now, every Friday I hop onto a seminar and I've got the chart here, but I don't have time to pull it up. But it shows that our inventory on a national basis is 32%, I believe, ahead of last year. And our pendings are 3% down. Well, this says something different for our market. We're only 8% higher in inventory than we were a year ago, right? And this compares, I've got these areas blacked out because these numbers aren't relevant. Don't compare today's market to 2002 or 2001, and pretty soon I'm probably gonna black out 2020. And so does that kind of make sense as far as actives? And then pendings are the same thing. Last week we had a little over 1,000, and that's 9.2% ahead of a year ago. So we don't have near as much inventory compared to a year ago, but we have more pendings. Yeah, right? And
So Steve, when I'm talking about this decline, I wanna talk about the current condition, is the market up or down, and the speed, so.
okay,
Right?
Yep.
So trajectory and what direction it's headed. And that's what you're talking about there, when you're talking
Right.
about the percentages are giving me an idea of the speed of change.
yeah. Another thing that you can see here is the average days on market. So these 1,000 had an average days on market of 28.5 days. If you go way back here when we don't want to compare it, it was like 15 days on market. So we're pretty level with a year ago, days on market, but we're ahead in numbers. And these numbers will change about every day. And then down here is where I don't report the active inventory in the last 7 days, like I talked about a little bit ago. But, and right here, where this white is and the green, this is the highs for 2024. Pretty soon I'm gonna switch this to 2025 because we're getting close. But we're only 7% behind the highest week of last year in terms of pendings. And in terms of closed units, we're still quite a ways behind. And does that make sense?
Yeah.
How much more time have I got? The other, so there's 6 different things I would talk about. Actives, pendings, new listings and solds, and contract ratio. Remember a little bit ago when I said this is gonna be 72% in tonight's, so I think that's a real positive. Way over here in 2022, when the market was crazy, we had almost 2 times as many pendings as we did actives. So this is trying to show you what the market is doing, and I believe this. Now last year, I better stop on that thought because I don't think what I was gonna say is correct. And then the absorption rate, we just talked a little bit ago. And I went back and calculated the absorption rate.
Steve, what is absorption rate for the newer folks in the room?
Okay, good, great question. The absorption rate, the way I learned it, is an attempt to say if we didn't list another house, how long would it take us to sell the existing inventory? Well, I calculate it every month. I go to rpr.com and they tell me every county, every zip code, please use that RPR. You have a free subscription if you're a member of the National Association of Realtors. And if we don't use it, we're gonna lose it. It costs a lot of money. But anyway, so the Carver County was the only one for last month's numbers that was over a 2-month supply. And the lowest, I think, has been Ramsey County, only about, 20%, 30% of 30 days, 9 days. So had about a 39-day supply, Ramsey County. And I went back and calculated that the absorption rate for that number when we had 29,000, it was 8.7 months. So I've been saying for a long time, I don't think in my lifetime I'll never see another buyer's market. And I wish I had more time, but I'll teach a class on this if you want me to.
Good idea. Please.
But anyway, back when the market crashed, when I wasn't paying attention, in the United States, we were building about 1 million houses a year. And when the market crashed and a lot of builders went out of business because they had all kinds of inventory, but they couldn't sell a new house. Well, we went from building 1 million new houses, and when the first year it dropped, we went to 400,000. So there was 600,000 houses that year did not get built, and slowly came back. But if you add all those gaps up, it's over 3 million houses that did not get built. Well, how do you make that up? All of a sudden, do you start building the 2 million houses? I don't think so. We don't have enough trees, we don't have enough refrigerators, garage doors, or whatever. So if people ask you, why is there such a short supply? That's part of the equation. Plus, I don't want to get political, but some people say in the last 4 or 5 years, there was 10 million people that came into this country illegally. So where are they living? Well, if you divide that by 4, average household of 4, that's 2.5 million houses that are probably being rented. And so that cut into the supply, correct? So those are, if you get asked that question, why is there such a short supply? Because we can't build them fast enough. And then the 4th or 6th area that I always include is year-to-date sales. And last year, on a national basis, we were down, I believe, or maybe up slightly from the year before, and then I just saw a new projection that the numbers are revised backwards. But anyway, in our 7-county metro, last year through the first 3 months, we closed 7,000, and this year we closed 6,900. So that's a difference of about 1.4%. So I think we're in a pretty strong market. I believe it, there's no doubt that it's a seller's market. And I'll try to maybe stop there. Questions?
Class would be great.
Good job.
What?
A class would be great.
Thank you.
Thank you for handing around that sheet in the laminated sheet. Yes. I was astonished to read on there that should have been more prepared, but when you talk about new listings, in 2008, it was the highest new listings of 26,000 new listings.
Is that for the whole year, or?
According to your sheet, I'm not quite sure what that means, but also I was astonished to read that new pendings were at 852. And the reality is the new pendings stayed about that same 1,000 almost every single year. Yet now we have how many new listings? Something like, I think it was like 6,000 or something. I mean, we are just at such a.
Oh, in terms of new listings, we're averaging about 1,000 every 7 days now.
And what is our current active listings?
Say that again, please?
What's our current active listings?
600.
Well, yeah, listings that have a listing start date within the last 7 days. So,
Like 4,000 or 5,000 as compared to.
5,770.
this is how many are active this morning. Oh, maybe that was yesterday. Well, that's a week ago. But right down here is where I report new listings. And you can see, like, way back in 2021, we don't want to compare it to, there was 1,700 new listings that week, the 15th week of 2021. So, the way you could use this is have it with you when you sit down on a buyer consult or a seller consult and just say, here's what the market is doing. And maybe just point to that part where I said, you know, our inventory is up over last year. Our sales are very solid. And the days on market of the sales or of the new pendings is coming down. We're seeing a fair amount of price reductions. I don't have this in the chart, but I talk about it once in a while. And coming soons are every Wednesday are running about almost 500. And that's what produced that new listings on that last Friday by an increase of over 300.
On the price reductions, are you seeing it in different price categories? I mean, is it mostly upper bracket that are having that or not necessarily? You don't keep that.
No, great question. But my wife told me last night, why don't you break your chart down by 500,000 or less? And I said, I got enough numbers in my chart. That would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But anyway.
So we'd like to have a class with Steve to really go into this a little bit more depth.
Yes.
We love that. Thank you, Steve.
Sure.
Fantastic. I understand all this stuff after listening to him enough times, so I've gotten it here. And I will tell you my biggest cheat sheet, and Steve knows this, is ChatGPT. I take his brilliance and then I put it in there and say, please make it readable for my 3rd grade level education. And then it spits it out in nice, repeatable form for bullet points on the net.
Well, good news on that front, because I'm starting to get active into Instagram. And I own, here's a website that I own, TwinCitiesRealEstateGuru.com. So the raw report may end up on that website.
Nice, sir. That's what you want. wind up here, I do want to say that we've had a lot of guests today, which is great. We've had a lot of people up here who don't normally speak, but I have one more guest before we finish off today. Come on down, new guest. Why don't you hop on in here and tell us what's going on? So thanks for coming, everybody. Appreciate you being here. CC will be around and love to chat with all of you. So come on down, say hello to CC, and we will go from there. Happy Easter to everyone on behalf of our
And I have hidden many $10,800 eggs.
Oh, Bill.
In your database. Thank you all, we love you. Happy Easter. Whoop, sorry, AJ. Oh, I'm gonna off to get more kids. Oh, $10,800. Every transaction. I guess you left Prestia didn't have little agents.
Second day there.